Hey folks, Mike Johnson here. If it's got wheels and an engine, you're in the right place. On this channel, we dive into car repairs, maintenance tips, and everything you need to keep your ride running smooth. If you're into cars and want to keep learning, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it.
If you're looking for how to replace a broken windshield safely, follow these simple steps. A store for windshield glass replacement. Prepare the necessary tools. Get rid of the old broken list. Remove stock glass in pinch weld. Prepare vehicle for new windscreens. Prepare glass. Apply urethane. Installing window glass. There are many instances when our windshield glass cracks or breaks at some point. Most of us take our windshields for granted and think they'll never break because they look solid, but dealing with a broken windshield is a very common situation that you'll need to be prepared for and at least have a good understanding of what needs to be done to repair it. When your windshield is cracked or broken at some point, you'll face safety issues that could affect you, your passengers and others on the road. What's more, driving with a cracked windshield is not legal, and depending on the severity of the cracks, you could be ticketed for driving such a vehicle. Replacing a windshield requires a certain amount of repair costs, which you could reduce considerably if you decide to replace your windshield. Therefore, this article offers you a DIY windshield replacement and helps you answer the question, how to safely replace a broken windshield? What causes the windscreen to break? The question arises as to the main cause of windshield breakage. As a rule, windscreen glass is very strong and durable, and not very easy to break. However, it is not uncommon to encounter situations where the windscreen breaks for common reasons. The windshield can break due to extra pressure, especially if you get into your vehicle and slam the doors suddenly. It could also break due to a small stone hitting the windshield on the road of other vehicles ahead. There are cases where some customers have reported that their windshield broke because the hood suddenly lifted up while they were driving at certain high speeds, and they didn't realize that the hood wasn't properly secured. Therefore, being proactive and learning how to replace a broken windshield helps you know what to expect without being nervous about the situation when it happens. How to replace a broken windscreen safely? Windshield replacement isn't a complicated job, and many drivers have learned the process and been able to replace their windshields themselves without needing a professional. However, since you'll be dealing with glass, the risk of safety problems is very high. Therefore, the most important thing you need to keep in mind is to learn how to replace windscreens safely and correctly without causing any negative consequences. Whether you're dealing with a broken rear or front windscreen, the good news is that the process is very similar, and all you need to do is follow these simple steps. 1. Store around for windscreen glass replacement. The first step in how to safely replace a broken windscreen is to find a good place where you can buy a new glass replacement. As a general rule, you'll have different options for finding a glass replacement for your windshield. Many dealers sell new OEM windshield glass that you can buy direct and consider providing them with their vehicle details, the model combined here to get an accurate measurement. However, dealer parts are generally more expensive than other approaches, and it will take you longer to obtain the part from dealers. Glass installers. If you've made contact with glass installers in your area, you can check whether they can prepare windshield replacement. Again, you'll provide them with detailed measurements, and they're pretty good at designing and cutting the exact dimensions needed to replace your windshield. A set of scrapers, soapy water, a glue gun, a primer that matches the same brand of glue, a set of pliers, plastic chisel, suction cup for transporting glass, metal scraper, a pair of gloves, safety glasses. 3. Get rid of the old broken list. To get started on how to safely replace a broken windscreen, you'll first need to get rid of the old, broken glass. To do this, you don't just handle it by hand, and you can rely on a shop vacuum cleaner that won't remove all the broken glass without causing safety issues. It's important to note that you may find broken glass all over seats and doors. Therefore, make sure you don't leave any small shards of glass on the vehicle, as this could cause injury to you or your passengers. 4. Remove stock glass from the pinch weld. After removing the broken glass, you should also remove any remaining glass trapped in the pinch weld. It's important to note that once you start removing the original glass, there's a good chance that some of the remaining glass will unfold. Therefore, you can use simple adhesive tape and glue all the glass together to form a single piece. Once you've glued the glass together, you can use a plastic scraper with a weighted hammer to remove all the glass stuck to the weld. While you're removing the glass, you need to stay clear of the paint to avoid scratching it. Although some specific tools help you get rid of old glass, these tools are more expensive, and as you do it once in a lifetime or probably several times over the life of your car, it may not be worth buying the tool. Once you've finished taking the glass out of the world, it's advisable to put the glass in a box, not a bag, and send it to the garbage can. Be sure to vacuum the area once more to ensure that no remaining glass can fall onto the vehicle when you remove the glass from the world. 5. Prepare the vehicle for the new windscreens. At this point, you can go ahead and shave the urethane with a razor blade until it's a millimeter or two thick. However, note that there is a way to cause scratches in the paintwork, which is the last thing you want to do, as scratches lead to rust that could eventually detach the vehicle's glass. 6. Prepare the glass. Once you've finished preparing the vehicle, you'll also need to prepare the glass. If the glass is not new, this will be less work for you. However, if you've bought used glass, you'll need to prepare it, and additional steps will be required. To do this, you'll need to disconnect the heating cords, as you'll already have them on the vehicle, and you'll get rid of all the urethane around the windshield, as you already have a good one too. While you're cleaning the urethane, you don't need to worry about scratching the glass, as your scraper shouldn't damage, as glass is much tougher than your car's paint. 7. Applying urethane. Before adding the glass to your car, you'll need to let the primer dry for at least 10 minutes. Then you must also apply the primer to the vehicle and prepare it for the new glass. It's important to note that you don't necessarily need to apply the primer around the whole windshield, as it's useful for areas where you've rusted or where the urethane has become very thin. 8. Installing windows. The last step is to carefully hold the glass from the suction cups and install it. You want to make sure that the glass rests perfectly in the right place, because once it touches the urethane, it will stick to it, and things will get messy and you won't be able to install the glass properly. How can I prevent windscreens from breaking? As a rule of thumb, if the problem arises due to a pressure issue, you'll need to go back into the trunk of the vehicle and confirm that the vents aren't clogged, because if they are, they'll result in additional pressure, causing the windshields to break. In addition, you'll need to confirm that the hood is properly closed, so that it doesn't lift up when you're driving. In conclusion, replacing a broken windscreen safely is a straightforward process when you follow the right steps. Always prioritize your safety by wearing protective gear and ensuring you have the necessary tools at hand. Remember to assess the damage carefully and, if needed, consult a professional for assistance. By taking the time to do it correctly, you can restore your vehicle's integrity and visibility. Thank you for watching, and stay safe on the road.